Welcome back to I24 News. I'm Nurit Ben.
And I'm Khaled Ben David. Well, we just watched Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu celebrating the settlement movement. But as of late this morning, there's a step forward in Palestinians' attempts to get official recognition on the global stage. Interpol, the international police agency, voting yes to include the state of Palestine as a member.
The Israeli government generally lobbies against Palestinian attempts to join those kinds of bodies.
This is a great victory for the Palestinian diplomacy, and that assures that the Palestinian national and political leadership work to set Palestine on the international platform.
And still with us right here in the studio is former Palestinian Minister of Prisoner Affairs Ashraf al-Ajrami. And joining the conversation, Asher Ben-Artzi. He's retired superintendent in the Israeli police who directed Israel's Interpol division. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being here. Ashraf, let's start with you.
You know, after the recognition of Palestine as non-member state of the General Assembly of the United Nations, the Palestinian leadership started to go to all the organization of the United Nations. And this is one of these organizations because we want to be a formal state and we want to implement the international law.
Well, let's ask Asher that question, why Israel opposed the Palestinians. And Asher was talking about symbolic benefits. What actually would the Palestinians gain by joining Interpol, and could that be a problem for some aspects of Israel?
First, I must tell you that Ashraf and Asher is a very good start. The names. But we are going to a difficult period because we can have a hard life with the Palestinian Authority together with us in the same organization. This is not a political organization. And the PA, the Palestinian Authority, made the criminal arena to a political arena. And we don't want to involve politics in Interpol. According to the Interpol constitution, politics is forbidden.
Ashraf, do you expect that this now, with the state of Palestine being accepted into Interpol, do you expect politics to enter the equation as it sort of always does?
No, after establishing this, the international criminal court, I think it is very important for the Palestinian.
Ashraf al-Ajrami, thank you for joining us today on our broadcast. Please, Asher, please stay with us. We'll pick up this discussion when we come back from this break.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to this I24 News Special Edition. I'm Khaled Ben David.
And I'm Nurit Ben. We were just here talking Interpol, a big decision from them today, accepting the state of Palestine as an official member. We just heard from a former official in the Palestinian Authority about what that means to them. In short, a step towards further international recognition. But what can an Interpol member actually do? Here's a quick look. They can vote at the General Assembly on the organization's way forward. They can benefit from databases, from training, from specialist teams, and from Interpol's Command and Coordination Center. They can also establish a National Center Bureau, that's a country's point of contact for Interpol affairs, and gain access to Interpol's secure global police communications network.
Well, still in the studio with us is Asher Ben-Artzi, retired chief superintendent of the Israeli police, and he directed Israel's Interpol division. And joining us now, Nitzana Darshan-Leitner from the Shurat Hadin Law Center. And Nitzana, I know you have brought legal cases against the Palestinian Authority in various international courts on collaborating with terrorism, for example. Now, the Palestinian Authority is joining Interpol. Yeah. Is that a blow to efforts such as yours?
It isn't. It isn't. I think it's really a joke that the Palestinian Authority was accepted as a state to join the Interpol. However, our efforts are against leaders of the Palestinian Authority. You cannot indict the Palestinian Authority. You can only go after individuals, ministers, prime ministers. When we bring our lawsuits in the International Criminal Court for war crimes allegations, we bring it against Jibril Rajoub against Khaled Mash'al, against Mahmoud Abbas.
Potentially positive side of this, and you'll tell us whether there is one or not in your eyes. Often what we see, especially in the Middle East, is that where maybe there's no political cooperation, there is some form of military or intelligence cooperation. Can you see the Palestinian Authority joining Interpol potentially as a way for better cooperation on some front between the PA and Israel?
No. If they want to cooperate, they can cooperate. Joining the organization, joining the Interpol, being a state member is more than all the efforts which they need. But I'm afraid of something else. Now, since they are a state member, they have the right to submit red notice. Red notice is not just a color.
What is a red notice exactly?
Arrest and for extradition. If they want to publish my name in this list, they can send to the General Secretariat in Lyon, the headquarters of Interpol, red notice with my name, and as soon as I leave Israel and arrive to the first border, I can be arrested by, by the local police, and I will be arrested until they can check some details and etc. etc. But the damage is done.
So, Nitzana, if they can do that, if they can use those red notices, legally speaking, how much clout does a red notice like that have if we're going to see the Palestinian Authority issuing warrants of arrest?
You need a basis to these red notices. You can't just throw them in the air. But you know, it's a two-sided sword. Once the Palestinian Authority is joining the Interpol and they can issue red notices, we can do that too.
Asher, let's look at the other side of the equation. Do the Palestinians, are there obligations being better placed on them by joining Interpol? Because there is always a sense that Israel, certainly on criminal matters, doesn't get the cooperation it wants to from the Palestinians.
Yes, of course. They do have obligations, but they can claim that, okay, we are going to do it, but it will take time. We don't have the manpower to do it. Wait a little. And this is the answer for this issue.
So they'll be able to avoid those kind of obligations, making some excuses, even if it relates, for example, to terrorism-related matters or getting requests for information on terrorism-related matters.
Of course. I'm not expecting to get help from the Palestinian Authority, although they are full members, state member in the organization, in the Interpol.
Nitzana Darshan-Leitner, Asher Ben-Arsi, thank you both very much for being with us.